To this a suggestion via Discord. Let's go ahead and jump into the video immediately. Definitely sounds intriguing. 250 Somali pirates swarm a U.S. Navy tanker at 3:30 a.m. The shocking battle unfolds. Really? Let's do it.
Somali pirates ambush a U.S. Navy fuel ship, only to face America's full wrath.
Why would you do that?
September 16th, 2025.
Oh, it's recent.
In the blistering waters off Somalia's coast, 30 speedboats carrying 250 pirates raced toward the USNS Guadalupe, a U.S. Navy tanker ship quietly delivering more than 8 million gallons of fuel to a nearby U.S. aircraft carrier strike group. From the deck, the pirates fired RPG-7 rockets, AK-47s, and DSHK heavy machine guns, their sparks cutting through the night sky. In just a few minutes, they were almost on the ship. But they had miscalculated.
They weren't getting on that ship, guys.
They had underestimated the flag fluttering in the wind atop the ship.
Right.
The backlash was thunderous. 3 CH-47 Chinook helicopters roared in low, each
That's the cargo bob from GTA 5, guys.
carrying 120 elite U.S. Navy SEALs equipped with night vision scopes, laser-guided rifles, and explosives. Behind them, 3 AH-64E Apache helicopters circled overhead, each with 1,200 rounds of ammunition in its 30mm cannon, and an MQ-9 Reaper drone for real-time surveillance, all focused on one target, the pirates' lair. America didn't come to negotiate. It came with steel, fire, and fury. Because when you hijack a U.S.-flagged ship, you're not fighting sailors. You're fighting the full might of the United States. 03:30 a.m. September 16th, 2025. Gulf of Aden, 120 nautical miles northeast of Isle, Somalia. Darkness still hung over the sea when a chilling signal appeared on the radar of the USS Laboon, which was assisting the tanker on its voyage. At first, the tea-sipping sailors looked at the screen and thought it was a cluster of fishing boats at sea. But within minutes, the truth was revealed. 30 speedboats, each loaded with armed soldiers, were speeding through the waves. In all, more than 250 Somali pirates were focused on a single target, the U.S. Navy fleet tanker USNS Guadalupe, a ship carrying more than 8.2 million gallons of jet fuel, enough to power an entire aircraft carrier battle group for weeks. This was no random ambush. Intelligence later revealed the mastermind, Khalid Qadar Abdurrahman, a feared warlord who had built a violent empire along Somalia's lawless coast. His men were no reckless fishermen. They were trained, organized, and heavily armed with AK-47 rifles, RPG-7 grenade launchers, and .50 caliber machine guns strapped to the bows of their boats. For the first time in nearly 2 decades, the U.S. Navy was facing not a band of opportunistic thugs, but a paramilitary force on the water. Aboard the Laboon, Captain Michael Harris and his nearly 290 crew knew the urgency of the situation. If pirates attacked the tanker, the consequences could be catastrophic. An explosion equivalent to 30,000 pounds of TNT, enough to create a fireball visible for miles. The Gulf of Aden, one of the world's busiest shipping lanes, would be plunged into chaos. As the swarm approached, red lights flashed across Laboon's command deck. Alarm bells blared. The order came over the radio. Headquarters, all men, prepare for battle. The warning was clear. This was no ordinary patrol. This was the beginning of a battle that would test the resolve of the United States Navy against overwhelming odds. And the first shots were seconds away. Will America's sailors hold the line? Or will the pirates make history with the unthinkable? 4:20 a.m., the pirates attacked. 30 pirate boats, engines roaring at nearly 40 knots, closed in on the USNS Guadalupe.
Let's go.
From the bridge of the USS Laboon, Captain Michael Harris watched the nightmare unfold. Wave after wave of small boats cutting through the black water. They swarmed like a swarm of bees, sparks flying into the sky. The first attack came quickly. The first RPG slammed into the tanker's stern structure, ripping through the steel and starting a small fire. Miraculously, the fire department quickly extinguished the blaze in minutes, but the message was clear. Just one miss could detonate more than 8.2 million gallons of JP-5 jet fuel. It would be the largest non-nuclear explosion in naval history, enough to incinerate half the Gulf of Aden. The pirates came in waves, firing AK-47s, PKM machine
guys,
guns.
There's no glimpse of intelligence here, guys, right? Like you don't recognize kind of what's going on. I mean, obviously you have no idea. Maybe they do know it's a tanker with like gas and stuff. You know what I'm saying here? Maybe they do know. Or they just think that it is an easy mark, not realizing exactly what it is. And the fact that you're firing, RPG-7, RPGs at them, right? For example, what exactly are you expecting to happen? Like, you're not going to make it if it blows up, bro. You know that, right? Like, you're not going home. All right, that's not happening.
And 12.7 millimeter DSHK cannons mounted on small boats. Guided fire lit up the night, while RPGs whizzed overhead. One rocket missed the Laboon's bridge by only 8 feet, shattering a window and injuring 4 sailors with glass and shrapnel. Another tore through the deck, leaving 2 gunners severely burned but still fighting. But the U.S. Navy counterattacked with brutal precision.
Right.
Laboon's .50 caliber heavy machine guns roared, tearing apart wooden boats in seconds. The deck gunners of the cruiser USS Cape St. George,
automatic 50
who had
cal?
received a distress call from Laboon just 5 nautical miles away and had entered the fray from the south,
of course
joined in with 20 millimeter Phalanx C-Wine WS fire,
that was mandatory.
firing nearly 4,500 rounds in the first 10 minutes alone. In less than half an hour, 9 pirate ships had been completely destroyed. Their pirate crews were thrown overboard in droves. A bomb detonated fuel tanks on a skiff, killing at least 15 pirates in seconds. Yet the pirates continued forward, reckless and relentless. At least 21 skiffs continued forward, attempting to ram the tanker, hoping to board it and take hostages. It never reached its target. A salvo of .50 caliber rounds ripped the ship in half, scattering debris and bodies into the waves. Another skiff launched a second RPG just 200 yards from Laboon's pier, which exploded harmlessly in the sea. The shockwave rattled windows and sent sailors sprawling to the ground. By dawn, the water was littered with charred wreckage and oil slicks. At least 70 pirates were dead or wounded, and 9 American sailors were wounded, 2 seriously, 7 with burns and shrapnel. Outnumbered 10-1, the American warships held their ground, but the sheer scale of the onslaught revealed a chilling truth. This was no ransom pirate. This was war at sea. As the sun rose higher, more small boats were racing in. The battle had only just begun. Will the coming raid smash the pirates' fortress, or will it walk straight into a deadly trap? At 5:10 a.m., smoke from burning boats still filled the Gulf of Aden. But the danger was not over. The captain was about to face more than 180 pirates still on the water, regrouping in new waves. Their ammunition was pouring into the sea at a dizzying rate. By now, the pirates had fired more than 70,000 rounds in less than an hour.
Wow.
But the American sailors, despite being wounded, calmly stood up and continuously fired at the remaining boats. They were unable to react and were immediately imprisoned in the boat. Captain Michael Harris of the Laboon knew that brute force alone would not destroy the swarm. He radioed for reinforcements. At Camp Lemonnier, Djibouti, the only permanent U.S. base in Africa 800 miles away, the alarm bells went off. Within minutes, the orders were issued. Deploy MQ-9 Reaper drones for real-time surveillance, dispatch helicopters, and prepare a SEAL team to counterattack on land. Harris gave the order no captain wants to give. Prepare for a counterattack on land. Immediately, 3 CH-47 Chinook helicopters, escorted by 3 AH-64E Apache attack helicopters, armed with 30mm cannons and Hellfire missiles, were ordered to retreat. SEAL teams prepared explosives, thermal optics, and silence carbines. At sea, the Cape St. George shifted position to protect the tanker, while the Laboon stocked up on ammunition for the next attack. The drone data quickly revealed the unthinkable. Along the Somali coast near Barawe, analysts discovered a fortified pirate compound, warehouses packed with cargo, dozens of moored skiffs, and a stockpile of more than 15 tons of weapons and fuel. Intelligence confirmed the mastermind, Khalid Kadar Abdurrahman, who had funneled more than $40 million in ransom money into black market weapons, including Russian-made RPGs and Chinese heavy machine guns.
Oh, okay.
His network had turned coastal villages into staging grounds for full-scale attacks on international shipping. The plan was clear: hold the surface line, then strike at the source. The message was chilling but necessary. The Americans were no longer merely reacting. They were preparing to take the war to Somalia, and the coming raid promised to be even more ferocious than the battle at sea. What happens when U.S. Special Forces take the fight onto Somali soil? Keep watching. You won't believe the outcome. At 8 a.m., the first light of dawn broke over the Somali coast near Barawe, a stretch of sand and jungle that concealed the heart of Khalid Qadar Abdirahman's empire. Intelligence estimated that more than 150 militants were guarding a fortified compound with a cache of 15 tons of weapons, 200 RPGs, and thousands of rounds of ammunition. Dozens of small boats were waiting on the beach, fueled and armed for the next wave of attacks. The order was given. 3 CH-47 Chinook helicopters roared low, each carrying 120 Navy SEALs, dropping them into ambush positions, while 3 AH-64E Apache helicopters circled overhead, each with 30mm guns loaded with 1,200 rounds of ammunition, waiting for the right moment.
Yeah, guys, you're not going to make it.
From the sea, the USS Laboon fired a salvo of accurate 5-inch gunfire, hitting a fuel depot at the edge of the compound, which had been positioned by the pilot. The explosion lit up the entire beach. 40,000 gallons of diesel fuel burst into a single fireball, shaking the shoreline like an earthquake. The SEALS sprang into action. Within seconds, they had breached the first warehouse, discovering crates of Chinese-made assault rifles and Iranian mortars, evidence that Somali pirates were being supplied with weapons by clandestine networks out of Africa.
Of course they were. Like, where else are they going to get it from, guys? I mean, so obviously with them going through and basically pilfering as much as they possibly can, they're utilizing these materials, et cetera, for the sole purpose of currency, right? Because they're not making any real currency there. So what they're doing is utilizing those products, trading it or selling it, let's say large scale, to get more, weaponry from the places that will actually sell them things, right? For them to do it. So yeah, of course, you're going to be utilizing all these like black market type of, entities to fund their excursions.
One team rescued 6 hostages, including 2 American merchant seamen chained up in a back room.
Yeah, seamen.
The pirates counterattacked fiercely. RPGs whizzed through the air, one exploding just 20 meters from the lead SEAL team, spewing shrapnel into the sand. A truck-mounted DSHK heavy machine gun fired 600 rounds per minute, blocking the formation until the Apache helicopter's Hellfire missiles cut them down with a thunderous strike from above.
Like, do you know who you messed with, guys?
Trucks and small boats were blown away.
Did you?
By 8:45 a.m., the tide of battle had turned. The SEALS had mined the weapons depot. Explosions ripped through the compound, leveling the entire warehouse. Apache helicopters strafed the retreating pirates, cutting off their escape routes, while Chinook helicopters prepared to withdraw. In less than an hour, more than 90 pirates had been killed, 60 had been captured, and the compound had been reduced to ashes.
Right, nothing.
Smoke billowed into the sky, visible for miles across the Gulf. The message was unmistakable. The U.S. Navy was not just protecting its warships, it was destroying the Somali pirates at their core.
Boom.
Yet as the SEALs took off, one question remained. If the pirates had so much firepower, who was really pulling the strings in Qadar's war? By 4:30 p.m., the Gulf of Aden was quiet again. The smoke of war still hung over the waves, but the outcome was indisputable. The largest pirate attack in modern memory, 250 men in 30 small boats, had ended in disaster for the empire of Khalid Qadar Abdirahman. The numbers speak for themselves. More than 180 pirates were killed, 70 wounded or captured. Nearly 80 others were captured, shackled, and taken to detention facilities controlled by the United States and its allies. At least a dozen warehouses containing 15 tons of weapons, 200 RPG launchers, 2 million rounds of ammunition, and 40,000 gallons of fuel were destroyed in controlled explosions.
I'm fine with that.
Only a handful, perhaps as many as 30 fighters, escaped to the mainland, leaderless and defeated. For the U.S. Navy, the loss is measured not in lives lost, but in lessons learned. The USNS Guadalupe suffered moderate damage, patched at sea, but remained afloat. Its 8.2 million gallons of jet fuel saved from the largest non-nuclear explosion in naval history. Some sailors suffered shrapnel injuries, but all the American crew survived. The skill of the fire crews and the discipline of the gunners prevented a disaster that could have crippled shipping lanes in the Red Sea.
Yeah, for a while.
Strategically, the Barawe raid shattered more than just one pirate gang. Intelligence gathered from the compound revealed banking transactions in excess of $50 million, linking Qadar's operations to networks in Yemen, Iran, and the Horn of Africa. This is terrifying. Somali pirates are not acting alone. They are mere pawns in a larger covert war game, funded by forces bent on destabilizing global trade. In Washington, the images tell their own story.
It could be.
Sailboats ablaze, captured warriors lined up on sand, warehouses burned to the ground. The message is clear. Attack an American ship, and the response won't stop at sea.
Right.
It will follow you to your doorstep and destroy your empire piece by piece.
Straight to the doorstep. Guys.
As the sun sets over the Indian Ocean, one question lingers in everyone's mind.
What?
If 250 men with rockets and machine guns can nearly destroy a fleet of U.S. tankers, what if the next attack is backed by a state sponsor with 10 times the firepower? The guns finally fell silent, but the echoes of September 16, 2025 would not fade quickly. The ambush by 250 armed pirates in the black waters of the Gulf of Aden ended with their empire destroyed, their stronghold of Barawe burned to the ground, and their network of leaders exposed to the world. The numbers alone were staggering. More than 110 fighters killed and nearly 150 captured, 12 warehouses destroyed, and 15 tons of weapons seized. What mattered most, however, was not the number of pirates who fell, but the warning their defeat sent. For decades, pirates off the coast of Somalia were considered a nuisance, a small group of men in small boats chasing ransoms, but not anymore. The battle proved beyond doubt that pirate armies had evolved into paramilitary forces, heavily armed and funded by shadowy financiers. Had the USNS Guadalupe been destroyed, 8.2 million gallons of jet fuel would have ignited across the world's busiest shipping lane. It would have been the largest non-nuclear explosion in modern history. An inferno visible from space, a disaster far beyond anything seen since Beirut in 2020. But it didn't. Because that morning, the U.S. Navy stood its ground. Outnumbered sailors and SEALs fought with skill and discipline, turning the tide on sea and land. Their victory was about more than survival. It was about a message. Now the world knows.
Proving a point here, guys.
Anyone who dares to attack an American warship will find no safety in the shadows or in hiding. The response will be relentless, fierce, and decisive.
Or in hiding.
And the question remains, if 250 men with small boats and missiles nearly caused a disaster, what happens when the next threat is backed by a nation with warships, missiles, and billions of dollars in funding? America must be ready, because the oceans are watching. If you found this story powerful, please subscribe and share it. Your support helps us bring more untold battles to light.
All right, guys. Again, the name of the channel is Navy Signal. Hold on here, guys. I don't know, like I watch things like this that you guys send me, and I have like an immediate sense of pride because it's like, I know, bro. We're not the place to like literally mess with like that. I just want to know, did they specifically know it was like an American warship, or did they just think that it was just like a big ship and they just wanted whatever was inside of it? Right. But based off of the fact that they saw our flag flying over it, right, and then still kept going. Yeah, we had to get them off the map, guys. Yeah, I see that. Because the literal audacity of specifically targeting the U.S. Navy. Do you know who we are? Right? Like do you know? Right? You don't like life that much that you chose to specifically target our military? Yeah, guys. Yeah, this is they found out today. Where is the guy? Did they ever find like the lead warlord, or was he like lost within that battle here? And again, guys, I'm not someone who absolutely is happy with the concept of people, losing their existence here. I don't like that, in general. But when you kind of get to the point where you're like, listen, I'm going to force forfeit my life type of thing. Because that's what they did here. They just immediately forfeited their life when they decided to basically go up against the Navy, guys. Amazing video here, guys. Super informative. I did not know this story. So thank you for I guess, enlightening me here. But all right, listen, guys. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. In the meantime, I'll catch you guys later. I'll see you in the next one.